Have you ever felt like someone in your life is constantly taking from you, draining your energy, and never giving anything in return? Do you sometimes wonder if your kindness and generosity are being exploited? As Christians, we are called to love and serve others. But how do we protect our hearts from those who misuse our goodwill? Today, we're diving deep into a critical issue, recognizing when people are using you. This isn't just about feeling taken advantage of. It's about safeguarding your spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. Jesus warned us in Matthew 10:16, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye, therefore, wise as serpents and harmless as doves." His words are a powerful reminder that while we are called to love, we are also called to be wise and discerning. In this video, we're going to uncover 7 key signs that someone might be using you. These signs are not just theoretical. They are practical, real-life indicators that can help you navigate your relationships with clarity and confidence. As we journey through these signs, remember that God values you deeply. Your worth is immeasurable, and He desires for you to be in relationships that reflect His love and respect. Stick with us as we explore how to identify and address these behaviors so you can protect your heart and fulfill the purpose God has for your life. Let's get started. Your time, your love, your energy, they are precious. It's time to protect them. Now, let's dive into the first sign that someone might be using you: constant asking without giving. This is a common scenario that many of us have faced. It's important to differentiate between a friend in genuine need and someone who consistently takes advantage of your generosity. Imagine this: a friend or acquaintance who seems to have a never-ending list of requests. They need to borrow money, they need help moving, they want you to run errands for them, and the list goes on. At first, you might not think much of it. After all, we're called to help others, right? But over time, you start to notice a pattern. The requests keep coming, but there's little to no effort to reciprocate or even show appreciation. Proverbs 27:17 teaches us that iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. This verse emphasizes the mutual benefit in healthy relationships. Just as iron sharpens iron, true friendships and relationships are built on mutual support and encouragement. If you're constantly giving and never receiving, it's a sign that the relationship may be unbalanced. Think about your own experiences. Have you found yourself in situations where you're always the one giving, whether it's your time, energy, or resources? It's worth reflecting on whether these interactions are truly reciprocal. It's not about keeping score, but rather recognizing the need for balance and mutual respect. In 2 Corinthians 9:7, Paul reminds us, "Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." This verse highlights the importance of giving willingly and joyfully. If you feel compelled or pressured to give constantly, it might be a sign that you're being taken advantage of. Consider the emotional and physical toll it takes on you. Helping others is a beautiful expression of Christ's love, but when it's one-sided, it can lead to burnout and resentment. Jesus himself often withdrew to solitary places to pray and recharge. Luke 5:16. If Jesus needed time to rest and replenish, so do we. So, what can you do if you recognize this sign in your relationships? Setting boundaries is essential. Communicate openly and honestly with the person. Let them know how you're feeling and express the need for a more balanced relationship. It's not about shutting people out, but creating healthy dynamics where both parties can thrive. Galatians 6:2 instructs us to carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. This means supporting one another in times of need, but it also implies a mutual exchange of care and assistance. Both parties should be willing to carry each other's burdens. Remember, it's not unchristian to set boundaries. In fact, it's a wise and necessary step to ensure that your relationships are healthy and honoring to God. Be generous and kind, but also be discerning and wise. As you navigate your relationships, keep this first sign in mind and strive for the balance that God desires for you. Let's move on to the second sign that someone might be using you: disregard for your boundaries. Boundaries are essential in any healthy relationship. They define what is acceptable and what is not, ensuring mutual respect and understanding. However, some people tend to ignore these boundaries, repeatedly pushing you beyond your limits. Picture this: you've clearly communicated to a friend that you need your evenings free for family time or rest. Despite this, they continue to call late at night, expecting you to drop everything to cater to their needs. This constant disregard for your expressed boundaries indicates a lack of respect for your time and well-being. 1 Corinthians 13:5 tells us that love does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. Genuine love and friendship honor and respect the boundaries we set. When someone repeatedly ignores your limits, they are putting their own needs and desires above yours, which is a clear sign of selfishness. Think about those times when you felt uncomfortable because someone insisted on pushing your limits. Maybe it's a colleague who keeps asking you to cover their shifts despite your refusals, or a friend who constantly shows up uninvited at your home. These actions reflect a disregard for your personal space and boundaries. Proverbs 25:17 offers practical wisdom. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house too much of you, and they will hate you. This verse emphasizes the importance of respecting others' boundaries and personal space. Overstepping these bounds can strain relationships and lead to resentment. The emotional impact of having your boundaries ignored can be significant. It can lead to feelings of frustration, anxiety, and even burnout. It's crucial to recognize when someone's actions are consistently overstepping the lines you've drawn and address it appropriately. So, how do you handle situations where your boundaries are not respected? Start by communicating clearly and assertively. Let the person know how their actions are affecting you and restate your boundaries. Use I statements to express your feelings without sounding accusatory, such as, "I feel overwhelmed when my evenings are interrupted, and I need that time to recharge." Ephesians 4:15 encourages us to speak the truth in love. This means being honest about how you feel while maintaining a spirit of kindness and respect. Setting boundaries is not about creating conflict, but fostering healthy and respectful interactions. Additionally, seek God's guidance in maintaining your boundaries. Pray for wisdom and strength to enforce them firmly yet lovingly. Psalm 16:6 says, "The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Surely I have a delightful inheritance." Trust that God supports you in setting boundaries that protect your well-being. Boundaries are a vital part of healthy relationships. They protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Don't be afraid to assert your boundaries and seek relationships that respect them. Disregard for your boundaries is a clear sign of misuse, and addressing it is crucial for your peace and spiritual health. Now, let's examine the third sign that someone might be using you: manipulation through guilt. This tactic is particularly insidious because it plays on our innate desire to be kind and helpful, making us feel guilty for not meeting someone else's expectations, even when those expectations are unreasonable. Imagine this scenario: a friend constantly asks for favors, and when you finally say no, they respond with comments like, "I thought you were my friend," or "I guess I can't count on you." These guilt-inducing remarks are designed to make you feel bad and compel you to comply with their demands, even when it goes against your own needs or values. Galatians 5:1 reminds us, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." This verse underscores the importance of maintaining our freedom in Christ, which includes not being manipulated or controlled by guilt. Consider those times when family members or friends have used guilt to pressure you into doing something. It might be a relative who expects you to drop everything to cater to their needs, or a friend who makes you feel bad for not attending every social event they invite you to. This kind of manipulation is not healthy or respectful. 2 Corinthians 9:7 teaches us, each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. True generosity comes from the heart, not from a place of guilt or coercion. When you give, it should be because you genuinely want to, not because you feel pressured or manipulated. The emotional impact of being manipulated through guilt can be profound. It can lead to feelings of resentment, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. Over time, this manipulation can erode your sense of self-worth and create an unhealthy dynamic in your relationships. So, how can you respond to guilt manipulation? The first step is to recognize it. Understand that when someone tries to make you feel guilty, they are attempting to control your actions. It's important to stand firm in your decisions and not let guilt dictate your actions. Use clear and assertive language, such as, "I understand you're upset, but I can't help with that right now." James 1:5 advises, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." Pray for wisdom and strength to recognize and resist manipulation. Seek God's guidance in setting and maintaining healthy boundaries. Additionally, reflect on your values and boundaries. Remind yourself of what is important to you and what you are willing to give. Stand by your decisions and trust that it is okay to say no. Healthy relationships respect boundaries and do not rely on guilt to get what they want. You are not obligated to meet everyone's demands, especially when those demands are unreasonable or manipulative. It is important to protect your emotional well-being and maintain healthy relationships based on mutual respect and genuine care. Manipulation through guilt is a clear sign of misuse, and addressing it is essential for your peace and spiritual health. Let's continue with the fourth sign that someone might be using you. They only show up when they need something. This behavior is one of the clearest indicators of a one-sided relationship. These individuals are nowhere to be found when you need support, but they magically reappear when they have a favor to ask or a need to be met. Picture this: you haven't heard from a certain friend in months. There's no check-in to see how you're doing, no interest in your life. Then, out of the blue, they reach out only to ask for a favor. Whether it's borrowing money, needing help with a project, or wanting a place to crash, their presence in your life seems conditional upon their own needs. Proverbs 18:24 tells us, "One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother." True friends are there for you through thick and thin, not just when it benefits them. If someone only contacts you when they need something, it's a sign that the relationship might be more about convenience than genuine connection. Think back to your own experiences. Have you noticed patterns where certain people only reach out when they have a need or want something from you? Reflect on how this makes you feel. It's natural to feel hurt, used, and unimportant when you realize that someone values you only for what you can provide. Romans 12:10 urges us to be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Genuine relationships are built on mutual devotion and respect, not on a pattern of one-sided favors. When someone truly values you, they will honor and appreciate you beyond what you can do for them. The emotional toll of these interactions can be significant. It can lead to feelings of exhaustion, frustration, and emotional depletion. Recognizing this pattern is the first step towards addressing it and reclaiming your emotional well-being. So, how can you handle this situation? Start by having an honest conversation with the person. Express how you feel when they only contact you in times of need. Use I statements to avoid sounding accusatory, such as, "I feel unappreciated when I only hear from you when you need something." This opens the door for a constructive dialogue about the nature of your relationship. Ephesians 4:25 encourages us to put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we are all members of one body. Honesty is crucial in any relationship. By speaking the truth in love, you allow for the possibility of growth and change in the relationship. Additionally, seek God's guidance in how to approach this. Pray for wisdom and discernment in handling the situation. Ask God to help you communicate effectively and to guide you in making decisions that honor Him and protect your well-being. Remember, chosen ones, you deserve relationships that are built on mutual respect and genuine care. It's okay to expect more from your relationships and to set boundaries that protect your heart and mind. If someone only shows up when they need something, it's a clear sign of misuse, and addressing it is essential for your peace and spiritual health. Let's examine the fifth sign that someone might be using you if ignoring your needs. In healthy relationships, both parties show care and concern for each other's well-being. However, if you find that your needs, feelings, or opinions are consistently dismissed or overlooked, it's a strong indication that the relationship might be one-sided. Consider this. You try to share your feelings or a personal challenge with a friend, but they quickly change the subject back to themselves or brush off your concerns. This dismissive behavior signals that they are more interested in their own issues than in genuinely supporting you. Philippians 2:4 advises us, "Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others." True friendships and relationships are marked by a mutual concern for each other's well-being. When someone consistently ignores your needs, it reveals a lack of genuine care and respect. Think about those moments when you felt emotionally drained because your needs were ignored. Perhaps you've tried to express that you need support, understanding, or simply someone to listen, but the other person continues to focus solely on themselves. This lack of reciprocation can lead to feelings of loneliness and frustration. 1 Peter 4:8 encourages us to love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. Deep, genuine love involves being attentive and responsive to the needs of others. When someone ignores your needs, it's a clear sign that the relationship lacks the depth and sincerity that God desires for us. The emotional impact of being in a relationship where your needs are ignored can be significant. It can lead to feelings of being undervalued, unheard, and even isolated. Recognizing this pattern is crucial for your emotional and spiritual well-being. So, how should you respond if you notice this sign in your relationships? Start by having an open and honest conversation with the person. Clearly express how you feel when your needs are ignored. Use I statements to communicate your feelings without placing blame, such as, "I feel hurt when my needs are not acknowledged." Ephesians 4:15 tells us to speak the truth in love. This means being honest about your feelings, while maintaining a spirit of kindness and respect. By addressing the issue directly, you open the door for potential growth and improvement in the relationship. Additionally, seek God's guidance in how to handle this situation. Pray for wisdom, strength, and clarity. Ask God to help you understand your worth and to guide you in setting boundaries that honor Him and protect your well-being. Your needs and feelings are important. You deserve to be in relationships where you are valued and respected. Ignoring your needs is a clear sign of misuse, and addressing it is essential for your peace and spiritual health. By recognizing and addressing this behavior, you take an important step towards healthier, more balanced relationships. Next, let's discuss the sixth sign that someone might be using you: excessive flattery. While genuine compliments are a normal part of healthy relationships, excessive flattery can be a manipulative tactic used to gain favor or control. It's important to distinguish between sincere praise and flattery that serves an ulterior motive. Imagine a friend who constantly showers you with over-the-top compliments. They tell you how amazing you are, how they couldn't manage without you, and how you're the best at everything. While it's nice to receive compliments, this kind of excessive flattery often comes with strings attached, usually a favor or request follows soon after. Proverbs 29:5 warns us, "A man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet." This verse highlights the danger of flattery. It's a tool that can trap you into feeling obligated to reciprocate or comply with the flatterer's wishes. Excessive flattery is often insincere and designed to manipulate. Think about those times when someone's excessive praise made you feel uneasy. Perhaps you started to notice a pattern. The flattery often came right before a request for help or favor. This manipulative behavior can make you feel obligated to agree to their demands, fearing that you'll disappoint them if you don't. Psalm 12:2 says, "Everyone lies to their neighbor. They flatter with their lips but harbor deception in their hearts." This verse emphasizes that flattery often masks true intentions. When someone excessively flatters you, they might be hiding their real motives behind their words. The emotional impact of excessive flattery can be significant. It can leave you feeling manipulated, burdened, and unsure of the sincerity of your relationships. Recognizing this behavior is crucial for maintaining your emotional and spiritual health. So, how can you address this issue? Begin by gently confronting the person about their behavior. You might say something like, "I appreciate your compliments, but I've noticed they often come before you ask for something. It makes me feel uncomfortable." This approach allows you to address the issue without causing unnecessary conflict. Ephesians 4:25 encourages us to put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we are all members of one body. Honest communication is key to resolving issues like excessive flattery. By being truthful, you promote healthier and more genuine relationships. Additionally, seek God's guidance in dealing with this behavior. Pray for wisdom to discern genuine compliments from manipulative flattery and for the courage to address it appropriately. James 1:5 tells us, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." That you deserve relationships built on honesty and respect. Excessive flattery is often a sign of manipulation and self-interest. Addressing it is essential for your well-being and the health of your relationships. By recognizing and confronting this behavior, you ensure that your connections are genuine and mutually respectful. Lastly, let's explore the seventh sign that someone might be using you if they make everything about themselves. In healthy relationships, there is a balance in conversations and mutual support. However, if you find that someone constantly redirects the focus to their own problems, achievements, or needs, it's a clear indication of self-centeredness and potential exploitation. Imagine having a conversation with a friend where, no matter what you say, they always manage to turn the discussion back to themselves. You might be sharing a personal struggle, and instead of offering support, they quickly interject with their own story, making the interaction entirely about them. Philippians 2:3-4 reminds us, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others." Genuine relationships require humility and a sincere interest in the well-being of others. When someone constantly makes everything about themselves, it shows a lack of humility and respect. Think about those times when you felt unheard and frustrated because the other person dominated the conversation. It's disheartening to realize that your thoughts and feelings are not being valued. This behavior can create a sense of isolation and insignificance in the relationship. Romans 12:10 encourages us to be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. This verse emphasizes the importance of honoring others by listening and showing genuine interest in their lives. Relationships should be reciprocal, with both parties feeling valued and heard. The emotional toll of such one-sided interactions can be significant. Constantly being on the receiving end of someone's self-centeredness can leave you feeling drained, unappreciated, and emotionally exhausted. It's essential to recognize this pattern and address it to maintain your well-being. So, how do you handle this situation? Start by addressing the issue with the person in a gentle and loving manner. You might say something like, "I've noticed that our conversations often revolve around your experiences. I'd appreciate it if we could also talk about what's going on in my life." This approach encourages a more balanced dynamic without creating unnecessary conflict. Ephesians 4:15 instructs us to speak the truth in love, promoting maturity and growth in our relationships. Honest communication about how you feel can lead to a more balanced and respectful interaction, fostering deeper and more meaningful connections. Additionally, seek God's guidance in how to handle this behavior. Pray for wisdom, strength, and clarity. Ask God to help you communicate your needs effectively and to guide you in nurturing healthier relationships. Proverbs 2:6 tells us, "For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding." You deserve relationships where you feel valued, heard, and respected. When someone makes everything about themselves, it's a clear sign of misuse and imbalance. Addressing this behavior is crucial for your emotional and spiritual health. By recognizing and confronting this pattern, you pave the way for healthier, more balanced relationships where mutual respect and genuine care are at the forefront. Chosen ones, as we conclude this important discussion on recognizing when people are using you, remember this: God created you with immense worth and purpose. Your time, energy, and love are precious, and they deserve to be honored and respected. Each of the signs we've discussed today, constant asking without giving, disregard for your boundaries, manipulation through guilt, showing up only when they need something, ignoring your needs, excessive flattery, and making everything about themselves are behaviors that can drain your spirit and distract you from God's plan for your life. Psalm 37:5 reassures us, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act." By seeking God's wisdom and guidance, you can navigate these challenging relationships with grace and strength. Trust in him to lead you towards relationships that uplift and support you. You are not alone in this journey. Lean on God and lean on the supportive, loving people he has placed in your life. Remember, it's not unchristian to set boundaries or to distance yourself from those who misuse your kindness. In fact, it's an act of stewardship over the gifts and the person God has created you to be. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more Christian motivation and guidance. Your engagement helps us reach more people with God's wisdom and love. Leave a comment below sharing your experiences or how you've handled similar situations. Together, we can build a community of strong, discerning believers who support one another in faith. Remember, you are valued, you are loved, and you deserve relationships that reflect God's love and respect. Stay strong, stay wise, and always seek God's guidance.